Tonight on News 5 Live, the National Meteorological Service is monitoring a low-pressure system off the coast of South America. Chief Met Officer Ronald Gordon gives us the latest update. Controversy brews in Belmopan over the building of a concrete wall blocking Cahoon Walk. And a San Ignacio fisherman is fined $17,000 for possession of undersized conchs. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for financial literacy journalism.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome to Design Depot, all in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome,
Oran Windows.
Welcome,
Tiles from around the world.
welcome,
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coating. Visit us today at mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot, all in one place.
Say hello to DigiTV. Step into the world of digital entertainment. DigiTV gives you access to 100 plus channels on your TV or your mobile device at unbeatable prices. Take your shows with you wherever you go. It's a new level of freedom. Enjoy your favorite entertainment, sports, family, Latin, and local channels. No more fighting for the TV remote. You can access whenever you want from 2 devices at the same time. DigiTV is for everyone, and with the fastest fiber and mobile networks in the country, you are guaranteed to have the best experience ever. There's no installation required. Sign up for the Max package for only $40 monthly and get the first 2 months for just $30. For a limited time, get 50% off a Fire Stick when you sign up. Download the DigiTV app from the Android or Apple stores. Just WhatsApp us at 608-8888 to sign up. It's that easy. Watch, experience, enjoy DigiTV today.
My name is Dr. Marcelo Coy, and I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist at Belize Medical Associates. Pregnant women are at risk of getting infected with the COVID-19 virus and are at higher risk to develop severe complications and illnesses. The COVID-19 vaccine is safe to use during pregnancy. All pregnant women should get vaccinated to protect themselves and their newborn. Visit any vaccination site and get vaccinated.
newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, October 5th. I am Sabrina Daly. The National Meteorological Service is keeping a close eye on a low-pressure system that has developed just off the coast of South America in the eastern Caribbean Sea. While it poses no immediate threat to Belize, there is a likelihood that its path through Nicaragua and Honduras, should it gain strength in the days ahead, can result in torrential rains for the country. Forecasters are relying on a European tracking model to determine the direction of the weather system. This afternoon, Chief Met Officer Ronald Gordon provided the latest update on the developing conditions.
Of course, we're monitoring this broad area of low pressure that is currently over the Eastern Caribbean Sea or entering the Eastern Caribbean Sea. The system remains disorganized. There was a second hurricane reconnaissance mission this afternoon or this morning, and they did not find a well-defined center of circulation. So the system is currently disorganized. It's being impacted by relatively strong upper level winds, creating what we call wind shear, and also interaction because it's close to the landmass of South America. So it is not a tropical depression, it's not a tropical cyclone at the moment. It is a broad area of low pressure moving westward at about 15 miles per hour. In terms of the projection, most of the models are indicating that the system, once it moves away from the coast of South America into the southwestern Caribbean Sea, where there is more ocean, or let's say more, it has more real estate, so to speak, for it to develop. There is a potential for it to develop and become a tropical storm. That's within about 2 to 3 days. And after that, where it goes is still relatively uncertain. However, one of the most reliable models, which is the European model, is indicating that the system will move towards Nicaragua, and possibly maybe not around Honduras, but again, it's a bit far out. So we, of course, will be monitoring very closely to see if it takes the track.
According to the Chief Met Officer, while they are better able to predict the movement of the system, meteorologists have not been able to calculate the intensity of the weather system. At the moment, the system near South America remains somewhat unpredictable.
All indications are that it should be in that area, Nicaragua, Honduras, around late Sunday, and then after that, move across, and then would affect us in Tuesday. We don't know yet how strong it would be when it reached there. We do realize that in terms of hurricane path prediction, there has been improvement, but when it comes to intensification, there's still a lot of work to be done there. So systems can intensify rapidly depending on the conditions. So we're not certain how strong it will be, and it depends on how strong it will be. The impact will be different for us. A stronger system moving slower across Nicaragua and Honduras, as we had with Eta and Iota, would tend to dump more rainfall across the country. So all this is indicating that there's a lot of uncertainty in regards to the system at the moment, which means that we have to be extra vigilant and monitor very closely. Within the coming days, we are hoping that as more information becomes available, we are going to be more certain of what the impacts will be on this country, if it does come our way. And like I said, all indications are that the system will not be recurving northward as we had with Hurricane Ian recently. The forecast track is for the system to move westward and cross Central America.
We will have more on the weather as well as the tropical outlook for Belize on tonight's forecast. COVID-19 numbers continue to spiral downward in Belize. In fact, this is the trend globally. Hospitalizations have also decreased as a result. Over the last 5 weeks, Belize's positivity rate has remained below 5. Today, we received an update from Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa on the latest COVID figures.
Regards to COVID-19, I think that it's global now that, most countries are reporting that there have been seen reduction in numbers, and this remains the same for Belize. In fact, our positivity rate for the last 4 to 6 weeks have remained below 5, which is something very positive. It means that we have gotten through the last outbreak and that we're not seeing significant increase in numbers. In addition to this, the hospitalization rate remains very low, and we continue to especially monitor hospitalization, because when we look at the assessment and public health measures needed for COVID-19, we've got to address a few things. Not just the numbers, not just the positivity rate, but how sick are the persons in Belize. So hospitalization is really key for us, and if we see any changes, we definitely would take precautions and measures. But to date, it continues to decrease.
Also trending downward is the number of persons getting vaccinated for COVID-19. There has been a decline in the uptake, according to Dr. Musa. She reminded the general public that persons can still receive pediatric vaccines and booster shots at any public health facility across the country.
Definitely, we've seen a decline in the vaccine uptake, and there are many reasons for that. I mean, we're seeing that the numbers have gone down, we see the hospitalization going down, and we do have 54.3% of our total population fully vaccinated, and we have had significant uptake with the boosters as well. I just want to remind the public that we do have the pediatric Pfizer still ongoing at all health facilities, and we are visiting schools as well. We have the adult Pfizer, and we do have AstraZeneca. So please come in if you haven't gotten your vaccine, or if you haven't been boosted, please come into any of our health facilities to get that.
Belize remains free of monkeypox. The Director of Public Health Service also gave us an update on what the ministry's advanced surveillance has uncovered to date. She also spoke with us on what you can do if you have a suspicious rash on your body that may require some medical attention.
We continue to test for monkeypox on a regular basis. As I'd mentioned before in previous interviews, we haven't really had a case that fits exactly the case definition of monkeypox, but because we have an enhanced surveillance system going on, we do continue to test, and we still have not been able to confirm a positive case as yet. But just to be reminded that if you do have any suspicion, that if you do have a suspicious rash or fever or anything else that you would think that you would like to be tested, please visit any of our health facilities. And throughout the country, we're able to test for monkeypox, and that's done in country.
34-year-old Alexander Harris, a Belizean fisherman of San Ignacio, has been fined $17,000 for possession of undersized conch. Harris and 2 other fishermen from Dangriga were busted by fisheries personnel on board a vessel east of the Lighthouse Reef Atoll. It is alleged that on October 4th, the trio, including 48-year-old Juan Carlos Palacio and 25-year-old Rene Gaves, were on the Mahajan east of Long Key when they were found with 140 market-cleaned, partially processed conch, none of which exceeded 3 ounces in weight. In court, Harris wasted no time and pleaded guilty to the offense, prompting the prosecutor to withdraw the case against the other 2 fishermen. A non-custodial sentence has been imposed on Harris. In exercising discretion, the magistrate took into consideration the fact that it was Harris's first offense, hence the reason he was fined $10,000 for the possession of undersized conchs. As part of the penalty, Harris was charged $50 per conch, which amounted to an additional $7,050. He has until the end of January 2023 to pay the fine, or, in default, will serve 6 months in prison. Coming up, short, medium, and long-term plans are identified for Sarstoon's forward operating base. Details when we return.
Start your engines now for the National MSME Roadshow, geared towards building the resilience of MSMEs and developing a national MSME directory. Sign up for this 3-day event filled with intensive boot camps, presentations, MSME support and formalization clinics, pop-up shops, and more to help you develop and promote your business. The National MSME Roadshow will be in Corozal starting August 24th, Orange Walk August 31st, Belize City September 7th, Punta Gorda September 14th, Key Cocker September 22nd, Belmopan September 28th, San Ignacio and San Helena on October 5th, Dangriga October 12th, Placencia October 19th, and closes in San Pedro from October 26th. Learn more and sign up for the National MSME Roadshow by visiting the Beltrade Facebook page or call or WhatsApp us at 613-5139. And let's get your business on the road.
On Friday, October 7th, the stars will be shining over the Belize Civic Center when the Bennis Interoffice Basketball League presents the Ian Mariano's All-Star Classic in collaboration with Racinas Import. The Belize Civic Center will be a night of glamour, glitz, and celebration, where the prime-time superstars from the IBL will be entertaining you, the fans. It all begins at 7:30 p.m. with the top guys from the 10 teams competing in the Boulevard Store Skills Challenge. Then at 8 p.m., this is why I'm hot. The hottest sharpshooters from their respective teams will compete in the Cellular World 3-point shootout.
Let's get ready to rumble!
8:30 in the night, the high flyers in the likes of Lindsey Young and Gregory Fisher from Grace Kennedy, Jason Ellis from Coast Guard, Michael Goff from HRCU, and Brighton Augustine from Coast Guard will be dunking their way to a possible 2022 Prestige Auto Sales Slam Dunk Champion. The grand finale will be at 9 p.m.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar.
The top 12 prime-time superstar players from Division A, led by Devin Daly and Lindsay Cooper Lopez, will take on the top 12 superstars from Division B, led by Francis Arana and Ian Renee, in a monster showdown in the Ian Mariano's All-Star Classic. This is as big as it gets.
Just another level!
Bring out the entire family for a night of fun and entertainment and ton loads of giveaways. Sponsors: Racinas Imports, DMW Supermarket, Mahit Wholesale, Fairfield Hotel, Cabana Used Clothing, Midway Wholesale, Mirage Belize, Car Guys, Harris Import, Prestige Auto Sales, Cellular World, Ocean Store, VIP Wireless, Nando's Wholesale, Venice Home Center, Crystal Water, Sprite, Our Aid, Travelers, Channel 5 and Channel 7, Prem, Wave, Love FM and More FM. Let's get it on!
BWS encourages everyone to practice proper sewage methods. For the system to work properly, don't flush paper towels or clothing materials. Don't allow plastic, baby wipes, or large items like toys to get flushed. These items don't break down easily and cause bad blockage.
These unwanted materials enter into our system, causing blockages in our pipes, which then leads to our manholes overflowing, and in worst case scenario causes our pumps to burn and our systems to fail. So please help us to keep our system clear.
Call 0800-CALL-BWS to report any sewage issues.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RFNG Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RFNG Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RFNG Insurance, a Road Group company.
If you are ailing due to a chronic disease and are left permanently invalid before retirement age, you may want to check if you qualify to receive invalidity benefit. The invalidity benefit exists for persons who are unable to continue working due to permanent illness. To qualify, you must be under 60 years old, must be sick for 26 consecutive weeks and certified to be medically unable to perform any type of work, must have at least 5 years of paid SSB contributions and at least 5 paid within the 3 months leading up to your illness. If you do not qualify for the invalidity pension, you may be eligible for the invalidity grant. Want to know more about invalidity benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Controversy is brewing in Belmopan over a portion of roadway that was de-reserved and sold back in 2019. The then Belmopan City Council took a decision to have a portion of the Philip Gozon Boulevard de-reserved. The land was surveyed and divided into parcels that were sold off. Belmopan residents are now experiencing the repercussions of that decision. That is because a property owner in that area has constructed a concrete wall on what was once a heavily trafficked roadway. News 5 understands that the property owner has title for the land, which means they are well within their right to build such a structure at that location. But tonight, Belmopan residents are saying that someone has to be held accountable. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Imagine driving on a public road that you traverse regularly, only to find a concrete wall blocking your path. That's what happened with long-standing Belmopan resident Karen Williams when she recently attempted to drive the Philip Gozon Boulevard to get to her destination.
First of all, I was trying to get right over here by the U.S. Embassy to do a job that I was supposed to do that day. But when I came here, literally, I drove here and I just stopped in my tracks. Like, I couldn't even believe that a structure like this is in the middle of a road where people normally used to access from over there to over this point.
This roadway was once reserved for the construction of the Philip Gozon Boulevard, but it is no longer public property. Back in 2019, the former Belmopan City Council, under the leadership of Mayor Khalid Bilal, had a portion of the road de-reserved and divided into parcels of land for sale. AR representative for Belmopan, Oscar Mira, spoke with us at the location.
Under the previous administration and just before elections, we got to understand that this part of the boulevard was de-reserved and it was being offered for sale. At the time, it was hard getting information. But as soon as we got in government in November 2020, we got a copy of all those that got lots in this area. Now, this side of the boulevard is where the street was. So as you can see now, we have a wall on the road. I think it was about 28 lots that were surveyed on this boulevard, and were sold to different persons.
Mira asserts that the lots in the area were sold well below market value. At the time of the sale, then Mayor Bilal defended the de-reservation by saying that the road reserve, which spanned 180 feet, would be too expensive to pave. He added that the boulevard would be redesigned to put an 80-foot road in place. But what remains today adjacent the clogged artery is a dirt road with no direct access to the nearest boulevard.
Next to it, there is a what you call like an auxiliary road where the residents of this future area, when it develops, would have access to that area so that they're not moving straight on to a main street. That's the way it works in other cities across the globe.
And now with this being out of the question, that will become the main road. You find that to be adequate?
It's not adequate. First of all, it's not a direct connect. Second of all, like if you look at this road here, I'm sure a lot of investment went into this road in a time where resources are very scarce and our leaders keep saying there's no money to build the roads. I mean, thousands of dollars went into a road like this. to give us another road that hasn't been built any at all for us now to go and find money to invest.
Making matters worse is the fact that a main water line for Belize Water Service Limited runs along the now de-reserved portion of the boulevard. There is a concern that in the event the line breaks, BWS would have to dig into someone's property to make repairs. This already difficult situation may be compounded if a house is built directly over the line. But Mira says his government's hands are tied at the moment.
Unfortunately, as you can see now, we can't use this road because it has been sold and property owner has put a big wall. It is incomprehensible why or how, you know, the administration, the previous administration, what were they thinking when they reserved this part of the Philip Wilson Boulevard.
Is there anything that can be done to reclaim these lands?
We have discussed, and I have discussed with the Minister of Lands, and I have discussed this with the current administration as well at City Council. It is very difficult. As you know, titles were issued very, very quickly. As soon as they reserved and they sold these land, those titles were issued. Now, if you have a title, it is costly to get it back. Very, very costly. It is monies that the government doesn't have right now to compensate. As you know, the previous administration was very famous for compensating lands that they had given out in duplication. They were famous for selling land below market value and then getting it back and paying over market value. So we have a lot of those cases already. So we are in discussion though, because as you rightly said, many of our neighbors and the whole neighborhood are shocked to see this wall just on the street.
But Williamson residents like her are demanding that the situation be rectified.
I hold both parties to blame. I hold all the parties that are involved in the selling of this space. I hold all the parties responsible that bought this space, because all the people that bought this place knew what they were doing, you know. And personally, Belmopan is a small place. People will feel hurt when I say that that I hold them responsible, but they are. I mean, not because we know other people and we know people in high places means that we'll go and do this kind of thing. It's not right, and we need to fix it.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Mira says his team is looking into other areas across Belmopan that were also de-reserved and put up for sale by the previous Belmopan City Council. We will continue to follow up on those reports. When we caught up with the Belmopan area representative, Oscar Mira, earlier today, we also asked him about his competition on the opposition side. Recently, a list of names was released with standard-bearer applicants for the United Democratic Party. In Belmopan, 4 persons applied, including former area representative John Saldivar, former Mayor Khalid Belail, former CEO George Lovell, and automotive salesman Emil Torres. Here is what Mira had to say about those potential candidates.
As politicians and as the area representative for Belmopan, I don't put 5% of my time, you know, to see who is going to contest me on the next election. But I do have a team who look at these things, you know, and advise me. I think that the people of Belmopan are seeing the work that I'm doing. I think that the people of Belmopan gave the previous area representative a wake-up call. I don't think he has ever gotten over the fact that he lost by over 2,000 votes here in Belmopan. And I think he's the favorite, if I'm not mistaken, because, you know, of his alliance with his party leader. But I continue working. I continue showing the people of Belmopan that you elected me for a job, and I'm doing the job that you have elected. I'm not waiting for 6 months before election. I have started working from the day that I got elected and consistently working along, because we need to provide that service. Along with the City Council, we need to provide the service to the residents of Belmopan. When I look at the other two names that have been, 2 or 3 names that have been thrown there, I don't see these newcomers having any impact in Belmopan. I know them well. I know Colonel Lovell very well, and I know Emil Torres well as well. I don't see them having anything, that can that I will be fearful of.
Earlier this week, during a sit-down with Tourism Minister Anthony Mahler, News 5 also got his reaction to the candidates who have submitted their applications to the UDP for the post of standard bearer in the Pickstock Division. Now, in the previous general election, Anthony Boots Martinez went head-to-head against Mahler and lost. According to the calculating list, 2 persons, a former UDP area rep and a former UDP city councillor, have applied. Here's Mahler's response.
Before politics and after politics, during politics, I fear no man or woman. I don't have anything to say about them, but all I'll say is that we're going to be prepared on our side of things. We're going to continue to do the work on behalf of the people of Belize and the people of Pickstock. And if you look at what we have done in just 18 months or so, we've paved at least 5 streets. We're improving Mahogany Street. We're building these factories. In fact, we're building some board tours that we're working on. We're doing Burja Field. I'm going to do a fish market soon on North Front Street, and the list goes on. So we have massive home improvements going on right now, and we'll continue to build homes. We've given out house lots. So we're doing our work on our side.
News 5 has been informed that the list is preliminary. The process going forward is that the nomination committee will vet the applications to ensure that they satisfy the requirements. Those successful applicants will either be endorsed or would have to go to convention to determine the standard bearer of the 31 divisions under the UDP banner. The forward operating base at the mouth of the Sarstoon River has been rendered uninhabitable, at least for nighttime occupancy, because of the force of the tidal waves on the foundation of the structure. But there is an immediate, a medium-term, and a long-term plan for that facility. Today, Commandant of the BDF, Brigadier General Azaria Loria, explained to News 5 what those plans are.
CEO of the Ministry of National Defense and some engineers, government engineers, along with Mr. Cadet Henderson as a consultant. We went there to see what could be done in order for us to rebuild the FOB. So with the professional assistance of the engineers, a paper has been submitted, I believe, or will be submitted to Cabinet, in which the appropriate steps are being recommended. For the short term, it is, I think that the engineers are recommending for the building to be braced. That is the short term, and it will be it will cost somewhere around $50,000. The medium term is to try to see how we could build a boom or a retaining wall, and the longer term is for us to construct that boom and the FOB itself to withstand a strong hurricane, a Category 5 hurricane, if possible, but that's in the future.
For the time being, the BDF soldiers are posted at the facility retreat at nighttime to the Coast Guard's base at Barranco Village. Bus operators who are engaged in discussions with the Ministry of Transport have put forward their concerns as it relates to meeting the demands of the ministry. These include the fact that they cannot access adequate financing to purchase fleets of brand new electric buses, and that they would need 10-year permits to ensure their ability to repay their loans. It is an ongoing discussion, one that the Minister of Transport told News 5 today the Department of Transport and the ministry might need to be a bit more lenient about with the bus operators.
It's going to take a while, so we even give them a phase of what to say, but by 2024, I want to see all the fleet change. But we realize and recognize that they do not have the funds to go to the bank or even the assets to apply. So when they tell them I want a brand new 2022 bus, they set certain criteria to them. We meet with them every so often and we tell them, please, when they put on a pressure to bring 2022, but start the approach. So we said December 22nd at the beginning. I want to see some transformation start in December 2022, and I put no pressure upon my officer. I want a whole fleet change by December 2022. From 2022, the roughly 400,000 landed in Belize. So we need the pressure, but we want to see no bus with no school seat, we'll have the children. So if you want to have one robot bus maybe in 2005, you must change it to bucket seats. We want to say bring the MCIs in, the commuter again more comfortable riding. The ideal situation would be in this position now because we change the fleet, to figure out how we can find any organization that want to fund the entire industry and go direct electric one time. Because by 2030, we are going to be forced to go electric because the world is going electric. So I look all around the world to figure out if I could find somebody who could come and say, set the funds there with a government guarantee to provide brand new buses on the highways of this country.
After the break, the findings of a vulnerability and livelihood assessment for the fisheries sector. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Good evening, Belize, and welcome to your weather report and forecast for tonight, Wednesday, October 5. I am Ronald Gordon. Weather conditions became a bit more moist and unstable across the country during the past 24 hours. Our latest radar imagery showed that a few showers and isolated thunderstorms persisted offshore and then gradually moved across most areas of the country during the day. In terms of our weather conditions for tonight, a few light showers will persist across San Pedro and Belize City, while if you are farther south in Dangriga, Placencia, and in Punta Gorda, you will experience a few heavier showers with isolated thunderstorms as well. The remainder of the country will be experiencing generally cloudy conditions overnight. In terms of our temperatures, we expect lows to dip to about 73 Fahrenheit in Belmopan, 70 in San Ignacio, 72 in Orange Rock, and 73 up north in Corozal. If you're along coastal areas, your lows tonight will be about 78 in San Pedro, and about 77 in Belize City, and also in Dangriga, and about 76 down south in Placencia and in Punta Gorda. In terms of your weather conditions for tomorrow, we're expecting generally cloudy conditions across most of the country. A few light showers will develop primarily in the afternoon in Belmopan and in San Ignacio, while down south in Dangriga, towards Placencia and Punta Gorda, you will experience heavier shower activity throughout the day tomorrow. In terms of our temperatures for tomorrow, those highs will be about 92 in Belmopan, 92 also in San Ignacio and in Orange Walk, while along coastal parts of the country, your highs will be about 87 from San Pedro all the way down to Placencia and about 88 in Punta Gorda. In terms of what we can expect for the next 4 days, on Thursday, you will see cloudy conditions with showers persisting mostly over southern parts of the country. A similar pattern will continue throughout to Friday, with showers gradually increasing as we approach the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. In terms of our tropics, we are looking at fair conditions persisting across most of the Gulf of Mexico. Showers and thunderstorms persisting across Honduras and Nicaragua are associated with northeasterly winds converging along the coastal parts of those countries. Further to the east, we are monitoring close to this broad area of low pressure that is currently entering the eastern Caribbean Sea. This system has a high chance of becoming a tropical depression during the next 2 to 5 days as it moves away from South America and enters into the northwestern Caribbean Sea. Some models are indicating that the system will continue generally westward towards the coast of Nicaragua and northern Honduras, while there are a few models that actually take it further north into our area. It is very important that we monitor the system very closely given the current uncertainty. It is also important to note that even if the system develops and moves to the south of us, it has the potential to dump heavy rainfall across the country into the early parts of next week. Residents are reminded to pay keen attention to the developments with the system and to keep updated with information coming from the National Met Service and any advisory that NEMO may issue. In terms of our marine conditions, we're expecting winds out of the east and northeast at 5 to 15 knots tonight with light chop sea conditions. Your winds will shift a bit more to the northeast tomorrow with conditions remaining light chop across the seas. Your astronomical conditions, there'll be a low tide at 12:30 tomorrow morning, a high at 6:57, another low at a minute after 2 tomorrow afternoon, a high at 6 minutes past 8 tomorrow night. Sunrise will be at 5:43 in the morning and the sun will set at 5:37 tomorrow evening. Your moon will set at 2:36 tomorrow morning and rise at about 3:45 tomorrow evening. And that's it from the National Meteorological Service. Join us again on Friday for another weather report and forecast, and keep updated with information from our website at www.nms.gov.bz. Have a pleasant and enjoyable evening.
Shout it out loud. Go to my life at your house whenever. We ain't gonna live forever. We just wanna live while we're alive. Go to my life. My heart is open like a highway. Please and say I did it my way. We just wanna to my lights.
Excuse me, sir?
Yeah.
But how can you pay with your phone?
B-Box.
What? What is B-Box?
B-Box have been his newest rewards program.
Really? Where I could get it from?
Man, check on the website bbox.bz, or you could download it from the App Store. And if you still don't know, check that young lady there and she'll hook you up.
I will surely do so. Good afternoon, miss. Can you hook me up with B-Box?
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Another round of consultation on climate change vulnerability and livelihood assessment of three key areas of Belize was held at the Biltmore today. Stakeholders from non-governmental organizations and government departments were engaged for a Green Climate Fund readiness project entitled Enhancing Adaptation Planning and Increasing Climate Resilience in the Coastal Zone and Fisheries sector of Belize. And today, a report on the findings was presented where these stakeholders validated the information. Today's event was hosted by the Government of Belize through the Ministry of Blue Economy and in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations representative for Jamaica, the Bahamas, and Belize's National Designated Authority of the GCF. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Over 100 stakeholders were engaged in a study to determine how coastal fishing communities, namely Belize City, Dangriga, and San Pedro Town, have been affected by climate change. The scope of the data was over a 30-year period from 1991 to 2020. Today's event is the fifth in a series of consultations to enhance adaptation for vulnerable communities and vulnerabilities within coastal zone and fisheries. The aim is essentially to make the country resilient to climate change.
Today, the findings are going to be presented and validated by the stakeholders. It's important because it helps to build resilience for the key sectors of the fisheries sector, as well as within the coastal zone, within communities, which are priority areas. They're heavily impacted by the impacts of climate change, whether it's sea level rise, erosion, changes in temperature, intense hurricanes. The findings will be used to build long-term readiness projects to ensure the viability and the longevity of the fisheries sector.
So influencing policy, basically.
Yes.
The process began earlier this year. An international consultant, Dr. Asha Singh, says that even though some of the data is unavailable, the impact of climate change can be seen and felt across these three communities.
Overwhelmingly, yes. Climate change is affecting Belize. Climate change is affecting Belize City. Climate change is affecting Dangriga Town. I cannot say much about San Pedro because the data that I would require for rainfall, etc., there isn't a data station. But if we can speculate based on the information for these two cities, yes, San Pedro is being affected by climate change. So that's one of the major foundation to the study. We are being affected. One of the things that we looked at is the exposure, how much we're exposed to these impacts that I've just mentioned. What is the sensitivity? How sensitive are we? And how are we adapting? And in all aspects, I can say that these are very high for these communities.
The study showed that Belize City is most adversely affected by climate change. Rising sea level, floods, erosion, and warmer temperatures were among the 27 indicators that were identified and used in the study. So how has the fisheries sector been affected?
The fisheries sector is very vulnerable. Why is it vulnerable? Because it occupies a set of stakeholders, or I would say it employs a set of Belizeans that really rely on those resources, who pretty much don't have much more of an occupation, but no fisheries for 30-odd years or even more. And when you have issues like climate change that start having where the fish becomes moving further away because the water is warming, when you put that to a fisherman who just have a canoe that would just go out there to fish, it really comes down to livelihood and his ability to feed his family. So it becomes very, very critical when we look at these sectors.
Blue Economy Director Maxine Monsanto says that the study is one of two that is ongoing, and the report will be made available for everyone so that future planning can take into consideration climate change adaptation when making investments.
There are multiple portions to the readiness project. So vulnerability and livelihood assessment is one. Another one is stakeholder engagement. An assessment has been already completed for that, and the development of a stakeholder engagement committee is being finalized. The next one is gender evaluation and assessment. That is also already, these are all ongoing activities. Last one is an assessment of the value-added chain within the fisheries sector.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
While the project is being funded through the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization and GOB, there is another consultancy underway, funded by a separate project. Blue Economy Director Maxine Monsanto tells News 5 that both will serve as foundation on which policy can be built. The data collected from either project can be used as evidence to support policy decisions in other areas.
The intention of all the data that's being gathered and the information that's being gathered, especially as it relates to the impacts to climate change on coastal zone and fisheries and vulnerable groups, specifically women, indigenous communities, youth, it's to help prepare future projects and future plans. So it's very important in that they're different pieces to like a puzzle that will connect together in providing guidance for national direction for building resilience, building adaptation within the fisheries sector and within coastal communities for climate change. They're all public documents once they're completed, but they are going to be primarily used by the government departments, but also the stakeholders will have copies, and as we move forward developing the Ministry of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation, we will be having them available for use by others. So they provide information that they can use in building other projects. For example, we're also looking, as you are aware, of deep slope fishing. That is being funded through IDB in partnership with Japan. Under that program, they need to do a gender assessment. Now, rather than duplicate the activity, we're going to take the data that's taken from here and present that as the findings for that. Another activity that we're looking at potentially in the future for the fisheries sector is value-added products. The findings from this program will assist with that. The stakeholder engagement will aid the ministry in moving forward with engagement with stakeholders across the board, because it is a multi-sector approach for blue economy development. So everything, again, as I said, is a puzzle piece. So our aim is to build onto each other. So no document, no assessment that gets done sits on the table. It's all connected to another piece in the puzzle to help build, one, the longevity and the viability of the sector, and two, promote economic growth within Belize's blue economy.
When we return, YWCA charts new direction at AGM.
Are you eligible for Amnesty 2022? This is your opportunity to apply. When you log on to www.immigration.gov.bz, you will find a full list of required documents needed for the amnesty criteria you are eligible for. Be sure to gather all general and supporting documents needed, including all necessary translations. Then make your appointment online with any of our registration centers countrywide. There, you will submit your documents and complete the required interviews. Thereafter, an acceptance receipt will be provided. While you wait for a decision on your application, track its progress online and know when to make payment at your nearest government treasury office. Once completed, you will receive your permanent residence card showing your legal status within Belize. Find out more about the Amnesty 2022 and how to apply online at www.immigration.gov.bz. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
So here we have two households, two kids doing what kids do, and two loads of stained covered laundry. One uses regular detergent, but only Fab has tough stain lifting power.
Wait, really? That's right. To get rid of all types of stains, use Fab. Adding Fab laundry detergent to the wash not only fights the toughest stains, but the colors won't fade. And Fab leaves clothes smelling fantastic. So pass it on.
Because your family deserves the best in laundry care. Fab, taking care of your laundry so you can take care of your family. Find it at your nearest store. Exclusively distributed by Big Limited.
This year, government is spearheading the first ever MSME Roadshow to bring the enabling tools for small business to every major district and community of our country. There is the earmarking of MSMEs loans, of which 60% is to be designated for women. The MSME Enhanced Program seeks to strengthen the competitiveness of Belize's MSME sector by fostering exports via the removal of custom import duty for a short list of packaging and labeling materials. making legislative changes by establishing a program to grant MSME businesses operating informally and a 4-year exemption from business tax and GST after registering with the Belize Tax Services and Beltrade.
Everything must come to an end. A much needed vacation, or even a good book. What about the world? How will it end? Should we be worried about the end? Frightened even? What does the Bible actually say about the end? Tune in right here as we discuss the end.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
It's probably several decades late, but Belize now has a formal driving course where women can learn how to become professional drivers. Now, 16 young women from the Young Women's Christian Association are taking driving lessons at the Belize Defense Force camp at the Price Barracks in Ladyville through sponsorship from UNICEF. The non-traditional course is one of several that the YWCA is looking to as part of a game changer for women and their role in society. News 5's Marian Ali was at Price Barracks for the first of its kind ceremony and found this report.
The Belize Defense Forces headquarters at Price Barracks in Ladyville is the venue where 16 young women who are part of the YWCA's program are learning how to drive automatic and standard transmission trucks. YWCA's Secretary General, Diane Haylock, explained that while the Y has maintained its commitment to providing traditional courses, it began to see the need to also offer training in non-traditional fields. This driving lesson is one of two.
The matter of these two courses came up, one being driving course for women and a barbering course, for women. Because one of the things that we also do at the Y is to provide training in different skills for women that will allow them to have an improved or better opportunities.
Commandant of the BDF, Brigadier General Azariel Loria, explained that the BDF was also looking to build partnerships and that when the discussion on this topic emerged, he was willing to have the military do its part.
Our training and doctrine office, headed by Major Rabatu. Since he took over office, I provided direction to him as to the way forward in terms of collaboration and trying to build partnerships with the government of Belize, the institutions, the ministries, and the non-governmental organizations as well. And we could extend it all the way to the private sector. We have different types of courses. We have the small vehicle driving course. We have the bus courses and the Hino truck courses, the troop lifting vehicles.
UNICEF's sponsorship of the course pays for the maintenance of the vehicles. It is an investment that the organization's country representative, Alison Parker, says they're all too willing to make to help towards gender transformation in Belize.
The women constitute 50% of Belize's population. That is half of the population of Belize. They are holding the informal sector. When you talk about micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, we find the women there. Belizean women are able. Belizean women are strong. If we give them equal opportunity, they will bring the 50% that the nation needs for national development.
The Ministry of Transport also had a hand in this arrangement in waiving the fees for driver's licenses for the 16 young women. Minister of Transport, Rodwell Ferguson.
And they asked me if I would support the idea when they are completed, if we will waive the cost of the license for the women. Right away, I said no problem. That's a new idea, that's a new initiative. Bring so many females together to become professional drivers. We think that that is the only way we can mitigate the amount of accidents in this country, by you get a proper training, you go to a school, and you qualify to drive.
Shade Lozanos is one of the 16 young women who will spend the next 3 weeks mastering their hands, eyes, feet coordination in the driver's seat. She has bigger goals than driving just the regular sized trucks.
I don't think women should be restricted to just small cars. Why can't we drive a big bus, a big fire truck, a big transport truck or something?
What about women also being accused of being the worst drivers?
I don't believe that. I think everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. A man can be a terrible driver, a woman can be a terrible driver.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
The Young Women's Christian Association has been around for the past 66 years, training Belize's underprivileged young women on how to become their own micro and small enterprise owners. A part of that training also comes with basic education. But at its annual general meeting held at the end of September, the Y elected new officers to its executive board and charted new areas where it wants to offer young women training. Its Secretary General, Diane Haylock, shared them with News 5 today and says the Y is once again open for business.
We're back in the driver's seat, so to speak, making it possible for us to continue to service the women, the young women, the girls, and our children generally. I think I feel very optimistic about the future of the organization. As our theme said, we're moving boldly onwards, and so we are in the process of trying to look at a new or improved or expanded strategic direction, for the organization. And so we're starting that process now. We'll have a lot of the things that we have done in the past. I mean, these are some tried and true programs that the organization has had, but we're also trying to look at new things that for instance, if you just look at the courses right now we're doing, we want to be able to see how we can offer additional kind of training opportunities for women. We want to begin to focus more regularly in a systematic way on actually continuing to challenge the gender equality issues, the gender equity issues, and overall women's empowerment.
From a dream to reality. That's what Belizean musician Stig the Artist posted to his social media page on Tuesday, following a meeting with Jeffrey Harleston, the Executive Vice President of Universal Music Group. Earlier this year, Stig the Artist, along with several other Belizean artists, signed distribution agreements with UMG. Well, following Tuesday's meeting, Stig announced that preparations are on the way for his first single under UMG. He noted that VP Jeffrey Harleston told him, quote, "Welcome to the family," unquote. Stig gave thanks to Shine, who says helped in making his dreams come through. Just ahead, TASA signs grant agreement for $1.5 million to manage Turneffe Atoll.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation,
The George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
In 2018, before I was diagnosed with cervical 4A, stage 4A cancer. First, it was the size of a grapefruit. That's what the doctor told me. No? The kidney got enlarged. I couldn't do any chemotherapy because of the kidney. So I had to do only radiation. And I did my first session of 25. And then when I finished with the 25 sessions, I went back, she checked it, and she saw 4 centimeters. And I went back for the next 10 days. And after that, when she checked it again, she said, oh, it's like nothing is there. It wasn't painful, but it's a machine that you go under, and you have like a big, like a circular, and that goes 5 times. It'll take 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the radiation, 1 session. Then you go back the next morning, another session. Well, I personally will highly recommend Galenia Hospital because of its good services, friendly staff, the doctors, very caring. Well, I just want to thank them for everything that they have done for me, you know, the staff and the doctor, especially Dr. Jamie, because she was my doctor for the radiation. No?
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
This afternoon at its new headquarters in Bella Vista, the Turnif Atoll Sustainability Association, TASA, signed a grant agreement for $1.5 million for the management of the Turnif Atoll. The Turnif Atoll Marine Reserve was established 10 years ago, and conservation efforts are being made to safeguard this precious marine ecosystem. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
An innovative financing arrangement for the Turneff Atoll Marine Reserve has been entered into by Turneff Flats, an internationally recognized fly fishing, scuba diving, and ecotourism resort, and the Turneff Atoll Sustainability Association. The agreement summarizes a joint effort to provide critical resources for protecting Turneff's unique and special environment.
Dr. Craig Hayes is one of those rare ones who put his money where his mouth is. I first met Dr. Hayes more than 10 years ago when he thought that my experience and his resources could work together to help to push for the formation of the Turneff Atoll as a marine reserve and to start up an NGO which became TASA that would manage that reserve.
Turneff Flats will provide TASA with $1.5 million Belize dollars over the next 6 years, with specific requirements emphasizing conservation initiatives for the long-term benefit of Turneff and Belize. Through this agreement, 40% of the grant monies will go toward general operating costs at TASA.
This has been a multi-month effort, and in fact, it's really a multi-year effort to put this together. And we've had our differences, our discussions, and as Lindsay said, I think we have remained focused on the fact that we want to do the best for Turneff. We want to make create an organization that will move Turneff Atoll forward and in the process Belize.
The remaining 60% will be designated for specific agreed-upon conservation initiatives approved by Turneff Flats. As an important part of the agreement, TASA and the Turneff Atoll Trust have committed to working more closely for the benefit of the Turneff Atoll.
I've always been passionate about the idea that Turneff needed a strong and effective marine reserve, and that at that time that structure at Turneff was very much lacking. It was put into place, and I concur that fully that Valdemar and his staff have really taken TASA to a new level, and my compliments in that regard. As Lindsay mentioned, the original concept of the Turneff Atoll Marine Reserve was to build a model stakeholder-based marine reserve. And this agreement, for one thing, among other things, brings that back a little bit in focus.
The agreement ensures that an active commercial fishing stakeholder and a tourism stakeholder will hold seats on TASA's board.
We have a natural resource-based economy, and this type of approach and model is groundbreaking in that, this is the type of approach that we need, because if we are to pay our staff to continue the enforcement work, to continue the science work, to continue to reach out to the stakeholders and inform them on what we are finding on the ground, this is the only way that we will be able to do it for the foreseeable future. It comes down to bigger fish and more fish. We always say, that's what they want to see, bigger fish and more fish. Craig has told me that over the trajectory of the 40 years that he has been there, a little bit longer than I have been there, Craig. I've only been there 6 years, going to 7. The fly fishers have seen better fish in terms of the Grand Slam, the permit, the tarpon, and the bonefish. And they have done their fair share.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Earlier today, 3 additional vehicles were handed over to the Tourism Police Unit, the Institute of Archaeology, and the Forest Department, respectively. During a brief ceremony, the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations, through the Sustainable Tourism Program, too, presented the pickup trucks valued at $65,000 each to support the respective institutions to further strengthen their capabilities in providing security services. In July of 2020, the European Union reallocated 500,000 euros from the existing Health Sector Support Program project, HSSP, to be put towards the preparation and response to COVID-19. Through this reallocation, the EU and the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, donated 2 medical waste autoclaves valued at $400,000 Belize dollars to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This action is linked to the Health Sector Program for Belize financed by the EU with more than $10 million implemented by PAHO and WHO. A handing over ceremony was held in Belmopan this morning.
Old people should be able to live in dignity. Access to healthcare, quality education, water, among others, are essential rights. For this reason, the health sector is currently one of our top priorities because we know how important it is to women, men, and children to be healthy. The European Union supports to achieve the World Health Organization's goals of universal health coverage worldwide by 2030. That means that all people have access to health services of quality when and where they need them. In Belize, the European Union has been working together with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, for almost 20 years, also with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, in order to provide more efficient and higher quality health care for people of Belize.
In 2020, with the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic, 500,000 euros were redirected to support our country's response. The funds were used to expand the National Laboratory Network diagnostic capacity for early detection, and that was key. That was a game changer in our response to COVID-19. It was also used to enhance infection prevention and control with a focus on medical waste management for COVID-19, including, while we're here, the purchasing of the 2 autoclaves, one for Punta Gorda Hospital and the other for Corozal Community Hospital. And in the past, just to do a little bit of history, even at Central Health Region, which is one of the bigger districts and more urban areas, we have had a lot of difficulty with getting rid of medical waste. And in many of our villages and our key islands, we've still had to resort to burning a lot of medical waste as well. So this is definitely something that is key. It's so important for us, and it definitely is a game changer for us in the management of medical waste.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.